It is exactly 8:36. You're with me, Julie Ali, on News and Views, standing in for Inayat Wadee. Welcome, and I wonder if this next guest is perhaps related to Inayat Wadee. He's co-founder of Muslim Stats. His name is Mohammed Wadee, and lovely to have you on the show this morning. Assalamu alaikum, welcome.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. No family unless we use Nuh alayhi salam and Adam alayhi salam as our fathers, then we family.
Absolutely. Mohammed, I was really blown away when I heard about your organization, Muslim Stats, for the first time today, I might add. And I read up about the work that you guys have done and all the information you have collated. How did this come about? And really, this is really very, very important for us to have in our country. And you guys rightly also felt the same. So take us right back to the beginning.
Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala nabiyyina Muhammad. This can only be put down to with the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Although it's sad news that's coming out, in the initial stages of the virus last year, March or April rather, just loosely counting the number of Muslims that had passed away at that time. And I think it was around 13 people. And this then gave us a joke to say, listen, at that particular time, majority of the people that had passed away were Muslims. And this is something that we need to count. And then when we went into it and we thought about it, we realized that, listen, this is not just a loose concept of collecting data, but this is what our history is built upon. The Battle of Badr, we would never have known how many people fought for us, for our Islam to be here today, except that people had documented it from the time of the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum. And it is that reason that we went forward. If you look at, the first person that actually developed statistics in an Islamic form, is that of Umar ibn Khattab, the third Caliph of Islam, the second Caliph of Islam, may Allah be pleased with him, when he collected information on the citizens of the Islamic State, of the Khilafah, and then issued out social assistance packages to all the people in the Islamic State, what people consider to be the dole system that is based on that the British have today. So this shows that Islam has got a history of documenting important figures and numbers in the Muslim community so that we are able to move forward and plan appropriately and plan with a solid foundation of knowledge, not just with guesswork.
How is all of this information that you collect going to assist the Muslim community?
Look, it's on the burial part of it, on the COVID aspect of it, and that is something, if I just divert for a second, we started out with the COVID fatality figures, but now the idea has come and people have come on board, inshallah, and going forward, we would like to expand our research into various different aspects of the community, whether it be to assist Muslim organizations with data, with information, so there's no duplication of rendering assistance to communities, for them to be able to plan long-term how to alleviate, whether it be poverty, whatever it may be, in the Muslim communities around the country. Coming back to our topic, with regard to collecting information for COVID, we work with various, public organizations, individuals, with government departments, statistics that are provided across the board. But we need to stress it is done in a legal manner. We are bound by the laws of the country, the privacy regulations of the country. So we need to ensure that we do not indulge into people's private lives or private information. Neither are we there to embarrass anyone, because having COVID is not an embarrassing thing. It is a sickness like any sickness, and we need to come and assist people. How has this benefited people? I think the one thing is to create an awareness to people that COVID is real. It has affected the Muslim community, and by no means in a small way. So that has brought about that. It's brought us an ability to be able to analyze, to analyze this information and try to identify the hotspots within the Muslim community. It's allowed certain analysts, it's allowed the burial societies to plan appropriately and accordingly, especially in the second wave, with the difficulties people have been finding across the country, in the Eastern Cape, Western Cape, and KwaZulu-Natal. I think it's given a chance to the burial committees in the rest of the country to be able to ensure that they've got sufficient amount of graves, of material, kafan, etc., manpower. People are beginning to get volunteers on board, expecting a bigger, problem or crisis compared to the first wave. So there's various benefits that do come out of this, and I think it has, and we hope it has brought the message home to people that it is real, it affects everyone, and we hope and that Allah has used us in a way that brings people to take the protection and that is serving the community and preventing harm.
Inshallah. You refer to Muslim Stats as a collective as we. So who are the other role players? Where are you based? And I should imagine you guys still have your day jobs, and this is done purely on a voluntary basis.
Yes, this is purely voluntarily. There's no money involved. There's no collection. There's no payments. On a lighter note, there's no Bill Gates giving any money as well.
Okay, because if he was, I'd be joining you guys.
So there is no finance involved in it, because they even said people are spending their own time, their own efforts, maybe data phones, whatever it may be. So we don't have an office as such. People are working out of their homes because it is voluntarily, and we don't want to collect money. A few people had approached us, businesses, quite big institutions, says, listen, why don't we sponsor you guys on our daily press releases every evening, etc. Yes, it would cover some of our expenses, but we decided to turn that down because we don't want to be tainted with any sort of an idea or an accusation that we're getting paid to, talk numbers or put numbers out, etc. On that particular thing, I need to tell you and the listeners as well, is that our numbers, if at most there is an undercount, we're extra cautious in what we report. If it is suspected, or it is called what in the medical term PUI, that is a patient investigation, those numbers are not added, are not reported. It is only those that are proven to be COVID positive by means of the COVID test, etc. We don't even generally use even clinical diagnosis to register the COVID case. And there is most certainly an undercount, and that is the scary part of it.
All right. Who are the other role players? Who are the other role players assisting you in getting this, having put this on the road?
You know what we've got is various people involved in it. You notice I'm trying to avoid the question of giving the answer, giving names.
Yes, you are dodging the question.
I am dodging the question, but I'm telling you about it. The reason being, there's a few other people that
wish to remain anonymous.
Wish to remain anonymous. But what I need to say, but that's for their own. Can I say they're assisting? I personally do not want my name to come out as well. But the organization had to have a face and have someone to say, listen, we're real. We're just not people, hiding behind this. But what we have done is that we've got a committee that oversees the daily audit of the numbers that we give out. Right? And that includes people from the medical fraternity, from GPs to specialists to researchers and analysts as well. Thereafter, we've got members of all the Islamic media houses that are on there. While they don't form the committee, but they do independently stand there to verify, to check that everything is being accounted properly and it's not just net of numbers pushed out. And we've got volunteers, to an extent that we've got some young people of 16 and 17 years old that are helping in the way to make sure that the numbers are correct, etc. So it actually gives out that feeling of creating one is leadership qualities and to bring people across the board. And we've got people from across the country assisting. What I promise you is perhaps, I will go back to the members, the founding members, and ask them please to put the names to it. And if they agree, it's better.
It's for the community to know who our go-to people are. So, and you just feel that much more comforted knowing, all right, these guys are playing open cards with us. Not that there's anything, underhanded about what you guys are doing. In closing then, Mohammed.
Just to cut you there, the reason that I think it was, I need to ask information just out of a courtesy.
Of course.
I don't think they're wrong, but there's two other people. They're both medical doctors.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons that they felt they should, just hang back a bit on the numbers, because people might be afraid And, they come from the highest integrity. They're not
Right.
giving out information of patients, whatever.
True.
But people would now accuse them to say, listen here, you know what, you guys are giving out personal information, etc., which is not true.
They're bound by the Hippocratic Oath anyway. But be that as it may, Mohammed, in closing then, inshallah, let's hope and pray in a couple of months' time or in 2 or 3 years' time, once we've overcome COVID, it's behind us, it's a bad dream. How do you believe Muslim Stats could continue serving our community?
Okay, two things. One is with regards to COVID in particular, our intention is with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as soon as, it's a long process, but as soon as the COVID pandemic, inshallah, comes to an end, we'd like to create a chapter in history, which is in the form of a book, documenting what has happened, giving opportunity for people's pain and hurt to be expressed in a book form. Perhaps even a chapter, a memorial chapter that can put in inverted commas, listing the people's names that we have lost to this pandemic, where Allah accepts them as martyrs, inshallah ta'ala. Obviously, within the legal framework, etc., all these things would be done. And one of the things would be is that perhaps we could set a sort of a formula or a historical experience for future generations if they face such a crisis, to be able to find answers and to prevent them repeating the same mistakes that we have committed in our community. We all know there's major, within the Muslim community, we've got different aspects and different arguments and fights and everything without going into that.
And differences of opinion.
Difference of opinion. But hopefully these can serve as lessons for these mistakes not to be repeated.
Inshallah.
Don't like to do. The other thing we'd like to do as well, like I said initially, we'd like to go into different aspects of statistics in the Muslim community to assess various, organizations, Islamic schools, even a simple thing like constructing a masjid in the area. If there is statistics, is there a need for a masjid in that area, or is there need a masjid somewhere else? Is the number, depending on the number of people, etc.
Right.
Absolutely. The other thing, I'm not sure if we've got a minute. There's another
final minute.
Okay, fine. We were in contact with a few government departments, with the NICD, etc. And this is something that we need to understand. This is from the favor of Allah, is that Muslims need to be setting standards and systems and new trends, etc. And initially, when we started collecting this data, a person from one of these organizations contacted us. We said, listen, you guys have got numbers which doesn't match to ours. And we went back to them and said, look, this is what we've got. And alhamdulillah, they realized that they've got a major problem. And numbers are not coming through to the government as what it's supposed to be. And because the Muslim community is now represented by all different race groups and foreigners and citizens, etc., it's a good test, can I say, comparison sample to government tests to see if they're on the right track.
Absolutely.
And so they still do look at our numbers to say, listen here, we might have a shortage of numbers. And they also went forward to contact different community-based organizations of other religions
Okay.
to get stats.
We're
I
going to,
apologize.
no, not a problem. A very quick and a short answer. Do you work closely with Stats South Africa?
We're not officially working with them, for the reason is Stats South Africa gets their information probably about 7 or 8 months later from when people pass away, up to a year.
All right, fine.
But we do have sort of a communication with the NICD and to a certain extent with the Medical Research Council as well.
Okay, Mohammed, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there. I'm really pleased and encouraged, and I'm sure the rest of the community as well, by the work you guys are doing. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of your efforts, inshallah, and go well and grow from strength to strength. Assalamu alaikum.
Osman's Taj Mahal Spice and Rice. For over 80 years, Osman's Taj Mahal have been perfecting the art of the perfect blend of spices, pure, aromatic, and well-seasoned. Spices to tantalize your taste buds. From creative cuisines to gastronomical gourmet goodies. From exotic odors to traditional dishes, Osman's Taj Mahal have remained synonymous with quality spices and condiments. Taj Mahal rice, beans, and lentils.